Okay, 7 o'clock. We can go ahead and get started. So the midterms are all graded. Your grade should be out there. You can take a look at that. I think the class average was like 78, so it seems reasonable. Um, there were a couple hundreds, so it was not impossible for sure. There was an issue with the exam. Apparently, this is a different version of Moodle than I normally use. Apparently, it doesn't give you much notice. So it just cuts you off at the end. So if it ever cuts you off, and some of you did this, just email me that last thing you're working on right away. As long as you're more or less within the time frame, that's not going to be a problem. And I graded those that were emailed. Now, hopefully, you know that it's not going to give you any warning. So make sure you upload something. You can always upload a second version again or replace it if you need to. Make sure you get stuff uploaded before anywhere close to the time limit. I think that would be useful.
You said the grades should be showing up?
Yeah, it should be. Are they not?
I don't see mine.
They're all there.
I don't see mine either.
So let me see what it's doing. It's all very strange. I won't spend a lot of time looking now, but I'll go back and check. Yeah, it should. Looks like it should be showing things. It's already closed.
Hey, David, actually in our like grades thing, it's not even, the midterm's not even showing up under our items of like to be graded.
That is really weird. I'm looking at the grades right here. So that's really strange. I'm not sure what I have done to that, but I guess I'll have to look and see.
It shows all the chapter homeworks, but it doesn't show the midterm.
I must have it set funny somehow. Try one thing real quick, see if I can fix it. Yeah, I'm not sure what what it's doing there. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that and see. It's really strange. They are all graded, but you don't know what they are. So sorry about that. But yeah, the class average was 78, so that helps any. Yeah, I'll figure that out. I may have to call somebody tomorrow to see, but yeah, I'll see what's going on. So what questions do you have about the homework on this chapter, on chapter 8?
Well, I have very specific questions if nobody else is going to ask anything.
That's okay.
Well, I'll let you go first and then I'll share. Or I'll ask if I can share.
David, sorry.
Did you have a question more general, Virgil?
Well, I was just going to say, is there really as little to that traffic light question as it looks like?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because my
You just follow the example out of the book, right?
Yeah, my main is like 2 lines of code.
Yep, there's less to it than the book example. That's really, but they're
Okay.
weird. Enums or enums or whatever, they're weird. So yeah,
We just make up whatever duration we want.
doesn't matter. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got done with it. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something.
Yep, I thought so too, but I ran mine and it works. I'm like, okay, guess that's all it wants. So yeah, and there wasn't much to that program either. I just printed mine out like the book did, and that was it. So okay, Christina, go ahead and share your screen if you want, and we can, if that's what you want to do, or do what you want to do. The floor is yours.
Oh God, that's scary.
We're all looking at you very intently. No.
Well, I'll share just so you can see what I'm talking about, but
Yep. You can share, but that's no guarantee we'll know what you're talking about.
this is, hold on, I'm trying to like, okay. So I have a couple of like quirky things in a couple of the programs that I've done. I don't know how to set the constructor for the rectangle to default to 1. So like over here, it's running when I give it parameters,
Right.
like it'll run. But if I don't, I'm not sure if I understand correctly. Like if I delete these out and you set it to default to 1, should it automatically run with a 1 and
It
show
should.
you a? Okay,
It should.
that's what I can't figure out how to do.
We had a discussion on Tuesday about that because it's weird, but I
Well,
don't know
and
why
I
it's doing
haven't
the other
watched The
value.
Office
I thought it was
Hours.
okay.
Well, it looked like you were already doing it to me.
But
Well,
I don't think it's doing the other values that. I
Is
don't
it
know.
this
I
how
always
to do
want.
it?
Yeah, because what you're saying there is if there are no constructors,
Then it's
then
1.
the 1 and 1. But
Okay.
do you have another? You need another constructor for it to send in 2 values.
Okay. Well, see, it works when I run it like this.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all. But that's only
See,
one
if
value, right?
No, it's 2. I just did length and width separately.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, no, that's fine. That's not the constructor. Yeah, up here is the constructor. Yeah, up here. So up at line 8 and 9, it's equal to 1 right now.
Okay, you're talking about up here. So when you set it equal to 1.
Yeah, that's in your constructor right here. Line
Okay.
8 and line 9. You can't see me wiggling my mouse because I'm not hearing you are, but I'm wiggling my mouse at lines 8 and 9.
Okay. So, but if I take these numbers out, should it run?
No, because you're running the set rec length and set rec width. Those require things. You're not in the constructor at all. Go back to your rectangle class.
If you copy 16 through 18 and put them above that and then run it, you'll see that it says that it's like 1 and 1 in area and perimeter 4.
Yep. See, the set rec length starts at line 19 and it requires something to be there.
So
you keep-
right here.
that's what you're running.
Okay.
And then the one at 28, you're running those 2.
Right.
So those are mutators, not the constructor.
Okay. But have I set is this how you set the constructor to 1?
Yes, and I don't know if it asks for a second constructor, but normally you want a constructor where you can set the width and the length and the width in the constructor. And you can overload that. You can just copy lines 12 through 16, make another copy, but you would have 2 ints.
Okay. So if I did this,
And then in the parentheses,
then-
line 18, you'd put int length and int width or whatever you want, whichever order you got them in.
double,
No, sorry. Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
And
And-
then do you set this to
Yep.
rec length
Yep.
and rec width?
Bingo.
Okay. I'll see it.
Oh. Let's look on there. Yeah.
Okay. So then when I run it over here,
That won't change
you
anything.
wouldn't have
You wouldn't have to, but you could go up to line 8 or 9 and put 2 values in there if you wanted.
so right here or right here in
the
these parentheses.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And that would allow you to run that other constructor.
Okay. Okay. But otherwise, what I couldn't figure out, this looked right here.
Mhm.
But for some reason, I thought when it ran, if I didn't put anything in the parameters, it should default to 1, and it was erroring on me.
Yeah, no,
And that's what
it should do that. It should be okay now, it looks like.
Okay. The other question I have is with the big decimal one.
Yeah, those are weird too.
Well, I don't know if I have figured, because I had already actually typed in the account from chapter 3. So I already had that in. So
Yep.
I just got in and changed everything to big decimal and
Yep.
looked at where it gave me errors.
Yep. That's what I did too. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
So right here, is this correct? Because it threw off the if statement, and I'm not sure what this actually means.
I think there you can just say balance, I think, but it's got to be greater than big decimal
Zero.
.0. Yeah.
This seems to be working okay. I guess my question is that wrong?
Yeah, because I don't know where you're saying if the balance is equal to the balance, basically, is what you're saying, which is not what you want to say.
I have trouble with that one too, but I looked at that. In one of the videos, you recommended a site, the Oracle site, and it
Yep.
had a page that was all about the
All
big
kinds of
decimals. And
Yeah.
I used that, and it says like you have to do like to initialize it to 0 when you're doing the compare.
Uh-huh.
You have to do compare to parentheses big decimal .0.
Oh, it's got to be on that compare.
Close parentheses. So that's like initializing your decimal to 0, and then you do your like it's greater than 0.0.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
So
like
it's-
here, Tara, it would be balance dot compare to big decimal dot. Do you put that in the parentheses?
Yeah, it's so it's if parentheses balance dot compare to, and then it's a new open parenthesis big decimal .0, and it'll prompt you to do it like
Yeah.
it's like in caps, and then close that parenthesis greater than 0.0, and then close that parenthesis.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got.
So yeah, it was saying that when you're using the compare to do
Yeah,
a
it's funny.
greater than or less than, you have to initialize it to 0. So you have to say like big 0, big or 1, but it said big decimal .0.
Okay, so I just didn't know what to put in the parentheses.
I know it took me a while to find that.
I'm not a big
Well,
decimal
I
fan.
found-
We need to go back to the drawing board and redesign that because it's funky.
Yeah, it's not intuitive.
No.
No, it's not. And that's what I couldn't figure out is what to put in the parentheses. But one more question, David, on my test, it keeps giving me these errors that says the constructor account big decimal is undefined. And I can't figure out why it's doing that.
That's weird. You haven't saved it, but that shouldn't matter.
Okay, I had trouble with that one too. And I went back in the book, and it's when it's talking about, so I didn't remember that it said this, but on 359 where it talks about doing the calculations with big decimal, and then it says when you're formatting your numeric values, they have to be strings, so you can't have where your number is in there, it needs to be in parentheses.
But there's
Or,
a
I mean,
bigger
sorry,
issue.
in quotation
Oh, right
marks.
here. And
Yeah,
see, I tried that, Tara, and it still would not go away.
No, what I had to do there, I had to do a big decimal dot value of 50.
Oh,
'Cause
right
you're
here.
sitting at a double, and it won't, yeah. Dot
Yeah.
value of.
There it is.
Oh, and then you
Okay.
had it in parentheses.
Yeah,
Like that, David?
That should work.
Oh,
That worked.
okay.
I think you were solving a different problem, Tara.
No, there's more than one way to do that.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Okay, so
how
you
the
actually-
example is.
The capital O and of, and the value of. And one more parentheses.
Oh, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it.
It's much easier to program with the team.
Amen to that. I wish I had that team on the midterm. Okay, those were the only questions because they were just ticky-tack things I couldn't get to work. So
Yep.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't attempted the other one though, the rational numbers one. I'm a little afraid of that one, and I haven't had time to watch the video on it.
Yeah, the video help will be helpful, I think. I would hope. Okay, so Barbie, did you want to share? Is that right?
Yes, please.
Go
I just
for it.
want to know if I was on the right track.
Could be. One never knows. But the real mystery in life to me is why there's a cat toy on my desk when I don't have a cat.
Or when you're having a bad day.
Take it. But it doesn't help that much. I do have a big Buddha. I understand the big Buddha. I put the big Buddha here. And my sponge Buddha.
And one question, I know on the video you said that we could use the enum
Yes.
instead of class.
Yeah.
I went public instead of with the package. I don't know if that would make an error somewhere.
It shouldn't. I think I made mine public too.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
for some
I
reason you said
I'll put it all
package on the video. I even went back and listened to it, but
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned package, but one never knows. Maybe mine was given some weird package error. That's always possible. What error does it tell you it's giving you on that very first line? Oh, is it?
a syntax error, but I thought I would need I was going by the example in the book on page 8.9.
Yeah.
It had an open bracket before it declared all the constants, and the closed bracket didn't come again until the constructor was.
Well, the constants are not right. You need to have like red and then in parentheses the value.
Yeah, it looked like the error said the problem was the parentheses.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if
I'm
if you
sorry,
look,
what did he say?
which he?
I said when you were hovering over the X, it looked like the error said something about a parentheses.
Yeah, that's
I
the
saw
error, yeah.
syntax error. I did.
Yeah, see, it's got
It looks
the
like a
problem's actually on
little
7.
bracket to me.
It's a bracket. Yeah, but that's still not. That's still. I think the issue is still starting at line 7.
Okay, so in line 7, I'm supposed to set each of those colors to a number for the duration.
Yeah, if you look at the
Then,
book,
or
the
set
book
it
has
equal
the-
to 0.
No, if you look at the book's got the book title or the JHTP parentheses and then whatever the values are. So I made mine int. So I just said red parentheses, give it a value 20.
Oh, I thought they were just doing like an abbreviation or something. I hadn't seen that before like that, so.
So you can have a
okay.
red, green, yellow as 3 lines starting at 7.
Okay,
So it'll be red parentheses. And then
Does
I
that
made,
need to be,
I just put a number, no quotes, just a number, because you got it as an int.
oh, okay.
does it need to be an int, or is it okay to put it as a string?
It's okay, it's a string.
Okay, because I put like, 45 seconds.
Yep.
Like I did it as a string.
Yeah, that's fine. That works perfectly okay. And then there should be a comma at the end of that line. And then the
Okay,
next
and
line,
then-
comma, you did a single quote or a single, yeah,
Sorry,
comma.
okay.
And same thing for green. You'll have parentheses.
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah,
And put a number. Count off by 5.
and then that will have a semicolon.
Hello. Oops. And probably indent.
Yeah, you should, but it shouldn't matter there. And then you only have the colors as part of it. So line 11 and line 15 need to go, as does the 18 to 21. This one's real short. That's what Virgil was talking about. There's not much to this one.
11.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
And,
That whole accessor for color.
oh, okay.
And make sure your brackets are straightened out. I don't know why it's looking, what errors are giving you now?
She needs to fix the constructor. It's expecting a string and an int.
Oh. That's it. That's what,
I'm sorry, fix the constructor because of what?
line 14 is getting only an int, not a string. So in the
Oh.
parentheses there, yeah. Get rid of the string color, leave int duration.
Oh, okay. Because I got,
Yeah, on mine, it was giving me that error before I even got to the constructor. I'm like, why is it giving me an error when I haven't even got there? Yeah. Yeah, that looks okay to me.
okay.
And then the test, you just look at the one in the book and it's like 2 lines and you have to tweak it a little bit, but it's pretty straightforward.
So I'll probably have to get rid of some of that stuff too. Is it looking okay so far?
You don't need a scanner.
Oh, I was thinking input information, but I listed it. Gotcha.
Yeah, you just list it. That's all I would do. Yeah, you're okay so far. So get rid of the scanner entirely, and then you can follow along the book. It's that weird for statement with the colon, which I don't like, but I'd used here anyway because it seemed easier than going the other way around.
So you still need the for statement even though you put the numbers in? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop share.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other questions about any of that stuff? That this was not a big long homework assignment coming off the midterm. I thought we needed a little break. Although the rational is going to be a little bit. There's a little bit to that.
So if we were doing it with a regular for statement, we would do for like I = 0, and then the limit would be what, like traffic light dot length?
Yeah, I think every object has a length, so that should work.
Or is it the traffic light dot values?
No, values would be the numbers. So it should be that traffic light should have a length,
Okay,
and that should work. How you iterate it, I'm not sure. I guess that's why I did it that way.
that's what I was asking, is what
Yeah.
what we would use for the limit for the counter.
Yep, don't know. You have to play around with it. That's why I was copied from the book. Sometimes it's easier than fighting it.
Yeah.
See, if we were in C++, I would have 25 years of C++ experience to draw on. In this class, I've got, like 2 years of Java experience. So some things we just have to leave as a mystery of life. So, and Java has lots of mysteries, like big decimal. Why they call it big decimal? It's like someone's, 4-year-old kid made it up. Let's call it a big decimal. Yeah, I don't like it. A lot of things. I mean, it's cool that it has a precision, because it always is a problem in programming languages when you're dealing with, you have integers and you have numbers with all kinds of decimal places, and all those decimal places can introduce errors. So I understand the point of big decimal. I just don't like the way it's implemented particularly. So what else do you want to talk about? Have you started on the rational class yet?
I have. I've been outlining how to do the simplification process, and
Yep.
the best I came up with was to basically I copied and pasted the Eris whatever sieve in to get a list of prime numbers to divide both numbers by.
You have not watched my video yet.
Yeah.
That's a way complicated way.
Yeah, I was doing a lot.
Two ways,
of
GCD
outlining.
of both. Take a GCD at the top, numerator and denominator, divide both by that GCD. You're done.
Well, that's what I was. So is there a GCD function in math then?
I don't know. I just did one real quick. You can Google a formula for it. You basically just going through and checking each number to see if it's a factor of the other. And then keep building up from one, and whichever one's left is the biggest one. That's what I did. I think it's all that in the video. I put a video out. I think I do the GCD. But there's 1,000 GCD implementations. You can grab a method to use for that. But that's the quickest way for that. The biggest problem with that is, again, like I said in the video, just thinking about how do you add fractions. I mean, we just do it. We don't think about it. And the way the computer does it would be less efficient if you're doing it by hand. But it's a lot more efficient for the computer just to, that's like when you're adding together, you just multiply your first fraction times the denominator over the denominator of the second fraction. The same thing for the first one. So, the base for both of those is going to end up being D1 times D2, which
that's what I was.
Not very simplified at all, but it doesn't matter because you're going to simplify it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a different way. We would by hand do it. We would notice, something and make a change. But it's easier just to brute force it. So, I mean, that one shouldn't be too bad. That one's more long. There's a lot to that one, a lot of pieces to put together, but I don't think it's going to be difficult. But again, that's important stuff, because we're talking about inheritance next week, where we're going to be able to derive classes from other classes. And it's going to assume that you're pretty familiar with the idea of how classes work. So that's the big takeaway. The big decimal and the enumerations, they're cool and all, but the real big part was that first part, just making sure you're comfortable with how classes are created and how to do constructors and overload the constructors and do all the methods and all that stuff. That's the big part of that chapter, I think. But I mean, this is the grab bag book that just like randomly puts stuff in. Yeah, we're going to mention it now and talk about it 300 pages later. I don't know why they do that, but they do. So,
Yeah,
So
the
a
thing
lot
with-
of those are gonna require to run, like, to simplify first, right? Or to find the greatest common divisor first, or whatever's the greatest,
I don't think I would do that. You can do it however you want.
or the
I
least
would
common
just-
denominator at least.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they need to have the same denominator to add them or subtract them,
Mhm.
I brute force it and take the first fraction, multiply it top and bottom by the denominator of the second fraction. The same thing on the other side,
Oh, okay, I see.
and it's a bigger number than what you would ever do, but it's so much simpler than trying to figure that out.
Because then you're gonna simplify it anyway
Yes.
after.
So if you had 2/3 plus 4/5, I just take 3 times 5. So I would take for the first one, the 2/3, you multiply by 5/5.
Yep.
The 4/5 multiply by 3/3.
Mhm.
And it's big and ugly, but then you simplify and it takes care of it. So yeah, you don't want to look for bases you could convert them both to, which you normally would do if you're doing it on paper. But you don't want to do that. You want to leave it big and chunky and let it take care of it. Computers are good at doing, grunt work fast.
So your suggestion for the simplifying is just to brute force find the greatest common factor.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's why, that was my initial idea of it, but I was like, it seems like it'll be a lot quicker to just divide out the common factors using prime numbers.
You could, but that sounds like it's more complicated. You could use Euclid has an algorithm for GCD. Any GCD is fine. It may be in the math library. I don't know. I didn't look. I just put one in that I had handy. But yeah, that's a simpler way to go. We're not at this point looking for great efficiency in our code. I mean, we don't want our code to be horrible, but it's not worth sweating over a few seconds at this point.
Yeah, I was just brainstorming while I was waiting for Fast 9 to start, sitting with a notebook in the theater.
So what other questions do we have on anything?
Hey, David, can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So I had done the same thing as Barbie had done on that enum
Mhm.
thing, and I just took it all out, and now it's throwing an error
Okay.
when I
Hear-
try
hear it
to
again.
run it.
because it won't-
Because I didn't realize, like, the way I had set it up. Hold on, I can't. There it is. The way I had set it up was like I had red, and then I had a string red, and then 8.9 seconds in green with a string green. And so I took all those extra strings out,
Right.
and I took out that constructor. Does everything look okay there?
Okay. So you've got string time. Okay. Then you've got traffic light string time. This time equal time. I think your T may need to be small on line 18. Oh no, it should be okay. That's fine. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, that looks okay.
Okay.
That should be okay.
Okay. So then when I test it, and I think the problem is in the for state, it's probably in the for statement.
Okay, so for its traffic. It looks like what they had, and it's crazy looking. Let me see what I've got. Mine's something similar.
But see, it did red down here, but then it's throwing, oh, maybe it's the %S. Maybe I have one too many.
Yeah, I've
You've
got traffic light, traffic light values, which look like what you've got.
Okay. Is it in the print string?
You've got an extra S in the middle there, it looks like.
Yeah, you should get that too.
Oh wait, no, never mind. I see. No.
That's
Yeah.
how it is in the book.
Well, the book has one extra field.
Okay. So do I need to take that S out?
Yeah, and next the percent too, and probably the whatever else, probably the 23, and maybe the dash.
Like, Like that? Or do I just do %S?
I mean, %S, and then space %S, %N. You need 2 %S's.
And then percent
Yeah, I
in?
did a tab between mine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's just \T, right?
Mhm.
I think so. Yep. Oh.
Ah, fabulous.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
Yep.
I like this method of programming a whole lot better.
So what are the questions we have? Okay. If that's all you've got, then that's okay. Well, I'll just let you go and you can go work on the rational class. That'll be fine. If you have other questions, let me know. I should be around on and off this weekend. If you need to talk about anything, we can try to figure that out. Yeah, that should be it. And then after you get this homework done, try to take a look at chapter 9. It's going to be a little hairy for us a little bit, I think. So we're getting another concept again, this concept of inheritance. So if you can read it in advance, and then I'll have the video come out on Monday. I'll put out the problem set probably on Sunday night, so you'll know what's coming up as far as problems go. The reading assignments are set. I mean, it's going to be we're going to do a chapter a week, so we're going to go sequentially until we're done. So that's just where we're at as far as that goes. Okay. I'll go ahead right now and see if I can figure out why Moodle's not showing you their grades. And we'll go from there. Hopefully if you see your grade, send me a message on Moodle to let me know you've seen it, just so I know that I fixed it, because I don't know what's wrong. So if I can fix it or not. It may be till tomorrow until I can call somebody at IT to figure it out, but I'll try to get that fixed right now. Okay. Anything else we need to talk about? Okay, that's good. Then I will see you guys later then.
Thank
you.
you.